Hello traders, and welcome to NOFT's Weekly Market Compass, where we help you navigate the week ahead. Our Weekly Market Compass is brought to you by our head trader Troy, who in between assisting traders and taking the next step in their careers, provides weekly and daily guidance in our live trading room every single day. Before we get into this week's guidance, we need to remind you that trading does carry significant risk, and all information in this video is just provided for educational purposes only and is not an offer or recommendation to trade future stocks, options, or Forex. From everyone here at NOFT, good hunting out there and happy trading. Here's Troy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Monday weekly call. I've got Forex Factory up here, and you can see I've got Monday, the calendar here. This is under Forex Factory calendar, Monday. January 29th. So let's take a look. We're going to run through the events of the week. Well, the good news is that there's really not much going on Monday here. Got core PCE price index, as well as personal spending and personal income. These both came in here just a minute ago, and you can see here that personal income was up, but personal spending was down. That's actually a good thing. Now these are low to medium impact, so there was no reaction to this on the ES to note. And that doesn't surprise me, but this is one of those things you want to pay attention to. This is a little clue about what's the underlying economy is doing, and that's really where these numbers come in. Yeah, you want to trade around the red items, but that being said, if you really want to get a good idea of what the overall economy is doing, the macro view, pay attention to this stuff. So personal spending was down slightly, but personal income was up. This doesn't surprise me at all, but considering we just came off of Christmas, so personal income goes up a little bit. We spend less trying to pay off those Christmas debts. Other things that affect the U.S. markets, you can see we jumped to January 30th on Tuesday. You'll see that we have consumer confidence. That's a big one. Remember that over 70% of the economy, of the GDP of the U.S. is controlled by consumers. So this is a big number. There will be some volatility that comes into the ES. Also at 10:30, we have a red item, which is high impact. This is the Bank of England. Governor Carney speaks, and this is similar to Governor Powell of the Federal Reserve speaking. Always want to pay attention to that they may drop hints about what is going on in the Bank of England plan, their outlook towards inflation, interest rates, etc. So big number, or big time to watch that on Tuesday. Now Tuesday evening, we've got some Aussie dollar numbers, CPI coming through. Again, this will impact the currencies greatly. The currency items usually cause much bigger movement than some of the U.S. dollar movement to react to the ES. So that being said, we'll keep going here. We're looking at Trump has the State of the Union speech Tuesday night at 9 p.m. That is always going to add some interest. If you want to watch the markets during that time, you certainly can do that. I'm sure the U.S. dollar will be oscillating greatly, which will make all the other currencies react as well. Always the potential to have increased volatility when Trump speaks. So if you are going to be trading, be aware. The State of the Union does happen at 9 p.m. on Tuesday night. Wednesday, we have some Euro numbers, CPI. We have non-farm employment change for the U.S. That's usually a pretty big number. Again, these red items can really move the currencies, and some of these will move the ES as well. CAD has a number at 8:30, the GDP, all big numbers. Got quite a few red items on Wednesday. Not only do you have the normal crude oil inventory, pending home sales, Chicago PMI, lots of stuff for the U.S. on Wednesday. But the big daddy one here is the FOMC statement and federal funds rate at 2 p.m. That will affect bonds, the ES, the dollar. So we expect to see big volatility come in around 2 p.m. on Wednesday. You want to really probably stand aside, wait till those news items come out and have been digested by the market before jumping back in. On Thursday, February 1st. The only red item that we have is Great Britain manufacturing PMI, and in the U.S. has ISM manufacturing PMI. Construction spending, other things that are being let go here are, they say, are low impact, but again, construction spending is huge. I really follow some of these more obscure items to help me get an idea of what the underlying information is going to be. Unemployment claims also on Thursday. So a bunch of stuff that is pretty important on Thursday, not only for the underlying economy, but there is a few red items as well. Jumping down to Friday, we of course have unemployment, non-farm employment change in hourly earnings month over month. Very important, 8:30 in the morning, as well as a bunch of numbers that have to do with consumer and factory orders. Lots of good stuff on Friday. So quite a bit of news this week. Should be a good trading week. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of charts. A couple of things I like to look at. First, crude oil here, staying within this channel that I've drawn here. Came right up, went through it a little bit, but coming back, almost look like we're doing an M pattern. Very, very interesting that we have an M pattern here. M stands for murder. Definitely think the risk is to the lower side of oil. The supply situation has not changed. Now, we've had some really interesting over the last week or so where when the currencies were going up relative to the dollar, because the dollar was going down. And what was very interesting is to see price going up when there was net selling. We saw that a lot last week. We saw net selling on the currency side, but yet price continued to go up. This is dollar driven, and as an anomaly we don't see very often. Most of the time, supply and demand is the king daddy that moves prices. Here in crude oil, supply is certainly robust, and the fact that we've got prices going up certainly is kind of odd considering the fracking situation in the U.S. The frackers are loving this. Price goes up as much, doesn't matter how much they pump out. Price continues to go up, and that is because of the dollar. So interesting scenario here. I like to use crude as my fear and greed barometer, and it's really not telling us anything. All it's telling us is the dollar has not been doing very well. Gold, consequently, has a little bit different pattern here, not exactly the same as crude oil. And again, I think this whole move up has been not fear related or greed related, it has been dollar related. So it is what it is, but I think that the dollar is probably going to get ready to bounce, and we'll start seeing crude oil or I should say gold come down here. Now the ZN is another one that I like to look at, and it is doing, for once we have something that's normal. This actually is exactly what we should be seeing. Don't fight the Fed. Prices, bond prices going down, interest rates going up. Sideways to down action is completely expected with the ZN, and I'm glad to see that at least there's some relationships and some things that actually seem to work. Don't fight the Fed. So in this case, this is totally expected. I expect it to bounce. We'll see some bounce maybe back up to this resistance here, and we'll chop sideways to down because the interest rate environment is that the Fed is raising interest rates. So bond prices will continue to decline. Interest rates will continue to go up over time. Nothing new here. So that's sort of the basic outlook for the week. Hope you guys have a great trading week, and happy trading.